Have you ever drifted to the very edge of slumber, only to be jolted awake by a sudden, inexplicable sensation of falling? This startling moment, often accompanied by a fleeting visual flash or an imagined sound, is a perfectly natural biological bridge between the waking world and the realm of dreams. Research indicates that this mysterious transition period, known as hypnagogia, is not a flaw in our nervous system, but rather a profound neurological handoff. To understand this delicate crossing, we must look at the rhythmic electrical impulses pulsing through the mind as day turns to night. When we close our eyes and begin to unwind, the brain produces alpha waves, which are relatively fast, synchronized electrical patterns associated with wakeful relaxation. These waves signify a state of calm readiness, the gentle winding down of our conscious awareness as we leave the demands of the day behind. As we lie in the quiet sanctuary of our bedroom, this electrical rhythm begins to change, altering how we perceive the space around us. The mind starts to untether from the physical environment, occasionally producing what scientists call sensory glitches, where a person might perceive geometric shapes, faint voices, or a sudden sense of weightlessness. These momentary illusions are simply the nervous system slowly dimming the lights on our external reality. It is quite common to mistake these curious perceptual shifts for signs of anxiety or an impending sleep disorder, yet sleep medicine tells a much more comforting story. Demystifying the falling sensation requires us to recognize it not as a disruption, but as a hallmark of a healthy functioning brain successfully initiating its restoration process. We can find immense peace in knowing that these oddities are entirely safe and biologically appropriate. The true magic of this transition happens when the alert rhythms give way to a slower, more undulating frequency. The brain shifts from those alert patterns to theta waves, the slower oscillations that characterize the first stages of light sleep. This neural deceleration is a complex, beautifully orchestrated event where the brain's vigilance networks power down, allowing deeper, more restorative cycles to eventually take hold. Zooming into the microscopic landscape of the cerebral cortex, we witness a fascinating tug-of-war between consciousness and unconsciousness, the regions of the brain responsible for rational thought and motor control do not simply switch off in perfect unison, rather they descend into slumber at slightly different rates. This uneven descent creates a brief window where the mind is partially dreaming while the body still retains a fragment of its waking tone. It is within this fragmented window that we often experience sudden muscle spasms, medically referred to as hypnic jerks. These involuntary twitches, which typically occur just as we feel ourselves slipping away, can be forceful enough to kick a leg or snap the entire body awake. Studies suggest that up to 70% of people experience these startling contractions, making them a universally shared quirk of human biology. Evolutionary biologists propose a fascinating theory to explain why our bodies react so dramatically during this peaceful descent. Millions of years ago, our primate ancestors slept in the branches of trees, where a sudden loss of muscle tone could result in a fatal drop. The hypnic jerk may be an ancient hardwired reflex, a primitive alarm system checking to ensure the body is secure before fully surrendering to paralysis and deep rest. Understanding this ancient survival mechanism transforms our modern nightly routine into an act of profound self-compassion. When we are jolted awake by that phantom drop, we no longer need to feel frustrated or anxious about losing our hard-earned drowsiness. Instead, we can gently acknowledge this reflex as a protective echo from our evolutionary past, a sign that the body is diligently watching over us as we prepare to drift away. To gracefully navigate this bridge, we can employ simple, mindful relaxation techniques that signal absolute safety to the nervous system. By taking a slow, measured breath in and releasing it with a conscious softening of the jaw, neck, and shoulders, we actively soothe that primitive alarm. This intentional release of muscle tension encourages the mind to trust the environment, smoothing the pathway from wakefulness into the tranquil depths of slumber. This nightly descent is carefully timed by our circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock that coordinates our sleep-wake cycle over roughly 24 hours. As darkness falls, this master clock signals the pineal gland to release melatonin, a hormone that lowers core body temperature and promotes drowsiness. This chemical cascade sets the perfect internal stage for the hypnagogic state to unfold, perfectly synchronizing our biology with the rotation of the earth. The quality of this transitional phase echoes throughout the entirety of our night, subtly influencing the architecture of our rest and our clarity the following day. When we pass through this gateway without resistance, we lay a stable foundation for the deeper, more restorative stages of non-rapid eye movement sleep that follow. A peaceful transition directly supports the cellular repair and memory consolidation that are vital for our waking well-being. Occasionally, this gateway presents us with startling auditory phenomena, such as hearing our name called or a loud, imagined bang just as we drift off. These auditory hallucinations are often misunderstood as signs of psychological distress, yet they are merely the auditory cortex misinterpreting internal neural noise as external sound. Recognizing these phantom noises as harmless byproducts of a shifting brain allows us to simply observe them without alarm. The neurobiology of these fleeting dreamlike moments reveals a brain that is actively unbinding itself from the constraints of physical reality. As the sensory relay center, known as the thalamus, begins to block external input, spontaneous imagery and fragmented memories bubble up from the subconscious. This uninhibited neural play is the mind's way of testing its internal projection systems before immersing itself fully in the vivid narratives of rapid eye movement sleep. Embracing these surreal fragments can profoundly deepen our sense of tranquility and connection to our own minds. When we view the hypnagogic state not as an obstacle to overcome, but as a fascinating, immersive preview of our nocturnal world, we remove the anxiety that so often delays real rest. We begin to look forward to this twilight zone, allowing its bizarre, beautiful imagery to wash over us like a gentle tide. The gentle art of mindfulness still offers its solace here, teaching us to become passive observers of our own descent. By practicing a progressive body scan, slowly bringing warm, non-judgmental awareness from the tips of the toes up to the crown of the head, we anchor ourselves in physical comfort. This practice allows the mind to wander freely through its sensory illusions, while the physical form remains grounded and completely relaxed. Cultivating this fearless approach to the edge of sleep reverberates far beyond the confines of the bedroom, touching every aspect of our systemic health. Consistent, peaceful transitions reduce the overnight output of stress hormones like cortisol, lowering blood pressure and easing the burden on our cardiovascular system. The ability to surrender to the void without hesitation is a powerful pillar of optimal rest, fostering resilience that carries us through our waking hours. Behind the scenes, the chemical cascade continues its quiet influence, ensuring that our descent remains steady and secure. The accumulation of sleep pressure, driven by a molecule called adenosine, works in perfect harmony with the fading light, gently pressing the brain toward unconsciousness. This elegant biochemical partnership ensures that the fleeting twitches and sensory echoes of hypnagogia are soon replaced by the profound, motionless quiet of deep, slow-wave sleep. Ultimately, the journey across this neurological bridge is a testament to the incredible complexity and protective nature of the human body. Every sudden twitch, every imagined sound, and every wave of heavy drowsiness is a perfectly calibrated step in a timeless, biological dance. By understanding the science of this transition, we transform a potentially anxious moment into a reassuring confirmation that our body knows exactly how to heal itself. As the waking world slowly fades into a canvas of shifting shadows and quiet thoughts, we can finally let go of the need to control. The mysterious crossing into slumber is not a void to be feared, but a welcoming sanctuary designed to restore, repair, and rejuvenate our very essence. With this knowledge, we can confidently close our eyes, embrace the gentle fall, and drift peacefully into the restorative embrace of the night.